Let's talk Spencer Lee. So a couple days ago, Iowa hosted the Soldier Salute Wrestling Tournament. Now, this tournament is over Midlands, and this is kind of why they don't go to that tournament anymore, because kind of they hosted their own, and it's almost like thinning out the competition at these tournaments, which sucks to see as like a fan of wrestling and someone who wants to see, quality wrestling. However, if you did not see over the news at all, or, on like the Instagram accounts, is that Spencer Lee is in a little bit of some drama, as we saw from this tournament. So what everyone is talking about is him versus Ayala in the finals, who is a lower classman, of course, competing for the same spot as Spencer. But I mean, Spencer's the guy. He's a 3-time national champ, 2-time Hodge Trophy winner. Like, he's the dude. So in this post-tournament interview with the coach, Brands,
25 guys or whatever it was, and a lot to evaluate. So we got Illinois 8 days from now. We got to evaluate this. We got to move forward. I know one thing, we got to stay healthy.
The common denominator here is that he wants his wrestlers healthy and have matches under their belt for the season.
That's where we're at. We got to stay healthy. So
Spencer said he didn't know how many matches he'll wrestle from now on, but he felt like either you suggested or he thought it was a good time for him to do this.
Yeah, it was. It's one of those things where he has faith in the coaching staff and we have faith in him.
Okay, I don't know if it's just me, but from the way he answered that, it seemed like he wanted Ayala and Spencer Lee to wrestle in the finals. He didn't medical forfeit to happen at that weight. So I think he was just reassuring himself of that he personally made the right decision for him.
There's no better way to gain timing and shape and do the things that it requires for what's coming up in March, except for to get into the fire.
And hey, if Brands does want to pump up Spencer and get him ready, like this is his fourth, people are going to, come swinging. If this is what he thinks needs to be done for him, then all to him. But at the same time, it's like, don't you just want, Spencer to be fully healthy and maybe just do what he can?
And you can be in the practice room as much as you want, but the fire is the fire. The thing I like about this tournament or this format is it's a 2-day tournament, and it's the same format as the Big Tens and the same format as the first day of the first 2 days of the national tournament. That's big. 2-hour weigh-ins, so on and so forth. And so we're just building everybody. I mean, even our young guys that, as freshmen, they experience this. And we told them we're not in Iowa City. We're in Chicago or we're in Chattanooga. And you don't have the luxury of your home warm wrestling room.
Now, I do have to give a shout out to Rebels Wrestling for kind of covering this match. We're going to kind of dive into his video here and just to give you guys a better understanding about this.
Today, I'll be showing you guys the match that gave Spencer Lee a lot of hate with his controversial finish against Drake Ayala. So this all starts in the quarters, or actually the semis, where Spencer Lee took out Joe Volk, but then after the match, kind of stormed off the mat, threw his headgear, and told the coaches that he wants a medical forfeit out of the finals.
So this, from a media perspective of what is covered, this is pretty much what we know what started it, is that apparently he was frustrated. Some people almost hearing him say like he's done, and of course he's not where he wants to be or needs to be, whether that be his health wise. Of course he's getting off double knee ACL surgery, or maybe he's just frustrated with his just performance. But at the end of the day, it is always Spencer's call if he wants to step out on the mat. I remember when we, filmed that video over the summer where he says, it's not his coach's call. It's not, his trainer's call. It's his call. If he thinks he can wrestle and if he thinks it is in his best interests. So we can see here from this tweet by Eric, he says, Spencer appears to tell Brands he's going to medical forfeit out of the finals. Watching the match, about halfway through the second, Spencer goes defensive and stops attacking for the rest of the match. Now, this was kind of almost like his first match back versus, was at Iowa State, and of course he dominated. I think he was close to tech fall in the first period, but then he didn't really score much for the rest of the match. And if he was going to medical forfeit out, I don't know what Spencer would lose if he did medical forfeit out, but I mean, that is all speculation.
So this isn't confirmed, but just based off reading his lips.
Another tweet here we can see from the wrestling room. Spencer won the semis 15-5, looked uncomfortable in the third, was favoring his knee and straining a bit. After the match, tossed his headgear and said, I'm done. Looks like a medical forfeit against Drake Ayala in the finals. However, as we all know, he did not medical forfeit out. I think what was happening is Spencer wanted Ayala to medical forfeit to him so he didn't have to wrestle, because Spencer is you know, is the better wrestler. But Ayala did not want to medical forfeit. He wanted to wrestle. He wants to have that starting spot. He wants to be the guy. I'm sure Ayala's like, you know, who cares how many times he won? He wants his time to be now.
And the people that are on the mat, that's what the story seems to say. However, Spencer Lee would later decide to wrestle in the finals against Drake Ayala. And he came out really aggressive with his hand fighting, a lot of clubbing, and then got to a takedown and then a 4-point tilt to put him up 6-0 against Ayala. And then this is where the real controversy starts, as Spencer Lee would end up getting the fall over Drake Ayala. And after he pinned him, however, the way he got up, pushing off of Ayala, and kind of staring him down, got a lot of hate for Spencer from wrestling fans, as a lot of people felt that this was just not the right thing to do against a teammate. And obviously there was some tension between Ayala and Lee, as they're both competing for that 125-pound starting spot. After that match, Ayala's mom actually made a post on Facebook talking about how she didn't like the treatment that her son had against Spencer Lee, and just a lot of fans in general did not like Spencer Lee's actions. But yeah, I could see it going either way.
Now here, we can't see what he said here, but I'm pretty sure what he says to Brands is like, you wanted this. You wanted this. You wanted to see this. I think that's what it was. Apparently, Ayala's mother is not a fan of Spencer Lee. No kidding. Rumor is Lee wanted Ayala to forfeit so he didn't need to do another match coming back from his knee injury, which is fair, right? Felt it was a waste of time, and a pin in 30 seconds kind of proves the point. Yes, it's such a weird situation, right? Because, you know, Ayala wants to start, he wants to start, and it's like Spencer, like, he's goated. I mean, two-time Hodge Trophy winner. Come on. It's just, he's clearly not on that level, but I can see, of course, why still Ayala wanted to wrestle that match. I love Spencer Lee more. It makes sense Drake wanted to wrestle to win the spot. It makes sense that Spencer wanted the medical forfeit after 3 titles and a litany of injuries. It makes sense that Spencer had the reaction, friends or not. It doesn't make sense for the coaches to allow that. You know, that is true, and I can get why Spencer would be, of course, pissed at the coach. Like, why would he have Spencer wrestle? Maybe in that match his knees would have buckled, and then, okay, it's like, who's to blame now, right? But I just always go back to, like, it's always Lee's decision, and maybe he just wanted to prove to the coaches, like, he is levels ahead of everyone. It's not close. I've met Spencer Lee a couple times, and he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. He gave the kid an opportunity to dip the match. Ayala wanted the smoke, and he got it. Mom needs to chill. And now here's where things get interesting. I don't know where I saw this on Instagram. I tried to find it to put it in this video, but allegedly what was said, I don't know if it came from Ayala's mom, but this post is like all taken down now, is that whoever this was claimed that Spencer doesn't really wrestle in the room. So literally just like take this with a grain of salt. Like, I'm not even too sure what that means, but you'd think probably just a rumor. You know, as I said, of course, before this whole video, Spencer Lee is the only one who truly knows if he feels physically ready to wrestle Drake Ayala tonight. We can speculate all we want, but he's a world-class athlete coming back from a major surgery. He has to do what's going to be best for himself. By March, tough call on December 30th. Now, after this whole string of things that went down on Twitter, and of course fans speculating, Thomas Gilman just posts an emoji of the lion, which of course Thomas Gilman is at the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, and as we all know, he's a very, very good Iowa wrestler. And you know, there's a reason why he left the Iowa Hawkeye Training Club to go to Nittany Lion, and there's drama in that. I'm not going to really go into that story because there's so much more I personally need to know before I feel like I report on that. But at the end of the day, just like Turbo Tad says right here, whole lot of overreactions about Spencer Lee. LOL. He's fine, and Ayala is fine. And at the end of the day, I think that's what it is. People love drama. It's like weirdly wired in our DNAs. We want, things to happen. And, for wrestling drama, this doesn't really happen in our sport. However, I do think that it does kind of make it bigger and more popular, brings more attention to the sport. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what we want. Maybe that's not what we need, but if we want more people to join the sport, more people to have our eyes on our sport and maybe get interacted with it more, I think this ultimately is helping the sport. But let me know what you guys think. Tell me your reactions about this, and tell me if you were Ayala or if you were Spencer, how would you have handled that situation? Or even the coach, how would you handle that situation? But that is going to end off this little drama alert here for wrestling. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let's try to hit the 200K, I don't even know, in a couple months, right? Once again, thank you for watching. Shout out to the patrons who support me on there, and we'll see you guys next video.